Hello and welcome back to Lumba Television. My name is Angel Lidi, and today we yet have another story for you. Like the other broadcasts, we did mention of the ongoing massacre in Obibo in River State. Obibo is a local government area in River State, and we did give to you the information of what is happening right there. Okay, we have yet another video of someone showing what has happened to some shops, some stores in Obibo. Today we'll show you what that video entails, and then we'll move over to the news and what's trending for today. So let's quickly give you what's happening right there. Okay,
The
so
video is short. I
listen
was
to
being
this.
chased after. The people are still disturbing. The whole area. One of them. People they worry. The whole area. The whole area. The whole area is under fire. The video coverage I'm doing now is a risk because they are still around. They are watching at me. My life is not safe, but I have to do this thing to bring out evidence. We need evidence. We need the world to see. We need Rivers State government to look into this matter. We are citizens. We are citizens. We don't deserve this kind of treatment. We don't deserve this. This market is being brought down. Everything has been taken away. The livelihood of over 250 people has been destroyed in just a day. This market is worth over 250 billion naira, and the whole money is gone. The goods in the market is gone. God, please help us. I am the PRO of this market. God, help us. Help us. Help us, oh Lord. This is my stand. And in this stand, I have over 50 pieces of phones, working phones, but none of them is to be found. This is where my tools, my machines for work, everything were inside there. This bus is empty. I will take you to my container where I have this is my container where I have over 30 pieces of cell phones, working phones, my tools, my machines, all of them they have gone. They've been taken away. And this is a life. What kind of life is left for us? What do we do from here? It is fine.
All right, that's the story of one of those who has a stall or a shop in Obibo Market, and what has happened to his store. You can hear him saying everything has been taken away, and yet we have no idea who called the shot on what happened to those people in Obibo. All right. Away from that, we also know that the governor of River State has given compensation to the families of those whose life were lost in the massacre that happened in Obibo. And we did see some pictures making rounds on the internet of the governor handing over some checks to the families of the soldiers who lost their lives in the past weeks. And also, we had some conversation on social media saying that if the governor of River State can compensate those families, those who were killed in the Obibo massacre should as well be compensated so that it will be even. Well, all of these are stories on the internet that we can quickly take a look at. And then over to the news for today. Let's see what's making rounds. Here we see NBA condemns reported killings in Oibo, River State. Let's see the report. The leadership of the Nigerian Bar Association (NBA) has been following with concern the reports of killings of citizens at Oibo local government area of River State. Please see the statements issued by the president of the Nigerian Bar Association, Mr. Olumide Akpata, in respect of the incident and outlining the steps which the NBA will immediately be taking in respect of the issue. And here we have the statement of the president of the NBA. Let's take a look. That's the statement of the president of the Nigerian Bar Association of the reported killings of Oyibo in Oyibo local government area of River State. The Nigerian Bar Association (NBA) has followed with concern the reports of killings of persons alleged to be members of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra (IPOB) by officers of the Nigerian military, allegedly on the orders of the governor of Rivers State. In response to those reports that dominated the social media over the course of last weekend, I spoke separately with the chairman of the Okwa and Port Harcourt branches of the NBA, the two branches closest to Oyibo, to ascertain the veracity of those reports of loss of lives and violation of fundamental rights of Nigerian citizens. Whilst the chairman of the two branches expressed concern over the situation, they, however, informed me that they were yet to conduct an on-the-spot assessment owing to the curfew imposed on the area by the state government to forestall breakdown of law and order. In a separate telephone conversation with the governor of Rivers State, His Excellency Nyesom Wike, he categorically denied ordering any such shootings as rumored, but acknowledged clashes between men of the Nigerian military and some suspected IPOB members of Oyibo local government and some IPOB members in Oyibo local government area of Rivers State. The governor further explained that the curfew imposed on the area was born out of necessity and assured me that it will be lifted yesterday, 3rd November 2020. I have now confirmed that the curfew has indeed been lifted and that residents of the area are now able to go about their lawful activities. With the curfew now lifted, the NBA has set up a fact-finding team comprising of John Aikpokpo Martins, first Vice President NBA, Victor Frank Briggs, past Chairman NBA Port Harcourt Branch, Chimaroke Eje, past Chairman NBA Okwa Branch, and Antonia Osademe, Vice Chairman NBA Port Harcourt Branch. The four-man team is to visit Oyibo and conduct an inquiry into the events of the last few days in the area, after which the NBA will make its findings known and determine the next steps. Ahead of the outcome of this exercise, the NBA reiterates its position that in a democratic nation like Nigeria, respect for the fundamental rights of citizens is non-negotiable and can only be derogated from instances permitted by the Constitution or other laws. We therefore continue to call on all and sundry, including security agencies and those in authority, to respect the dignity of life and fundamental rights of every citizen and desist from conducts likely to undermine our democracy or indeed the unity of Nigeria. Olumide Akpata, NBA President. That's the NBA President on the killings of Oyibo in Rivers State. Okay, so we move over now. We move over now to the news making rounds for today. We have, of course, always bring you the news and trending, what's going on. For today, let's see, what do we have for you? We see Ubochi Puriche n'ala Igbo. That's one headline. And then yet another, we see court jails ex-high court registrar over 80 million fraud. Shocking discoveries on U.S. election riggings, blank ballots, dead men votes, et al. And breaking High Court moves to commit DCP Yusuf of SARS, Amuchewa, orders to prison. Obi hails journalists, charges them to remain resolute in struggle for better society. FG begins mass metering initiative in Kaduna, Kano, Abuja, and Lagos. And we already told you that NBA condemns reported killings in Oyibo, Rivers State. Wanguma charges IGP against defend yourself insightful statement. Chukwacha, Nigerian American, wins Delaware House of Reps seat. Opinion: Oyibo Nyesom Wike is a patriotic Nigerian governor by Ifeanyi Chijioke. And Biden launches transition website. All the stories you've gotten are on Elimba TV site, that is www.elimba.com. That's where you can get the stories. And of course, you can also follow us on Instagram, like our Facebook page, and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you'll be the first to get all of our information as they come. Well, like we always do, we would give you what's going on, what's happening, what's making news, all of that in one pack. Still on what's happening, we have 450 million naira fraud. Court adjourns ex-minister orders trial till February 4th, 2021. We have Buhari received traditional rulers in Aso Rock and the photos here. Election Cliffhanger in America by Olusegun Adeniyi. Opinion Reducing Crime and Restoring Public Confidence in the Police by Isaac Asabo. That's our special report. And breaking, Senate asks Buhari to stop foreign medical trips. That's another story yet on the Elumba television site. Remember the site, you can get the information. So just log on to www.elumba.com for all of the stories that we have here. And still on the special report section of the Elumba site, we have breaking. You can't dictate to us anymore. Southern Middle Belt. That's where the story is coming from. And still right here on Elumba Television, PDP rejects attempts to regulate social media. Of course, you remember that there's been news going around that the social media will be censored. And PDP saying, no, we don't want that. What will happen right after? Well, we don't know. You and I will discover as it unfolds. We'll bring you the news every step of the way. Okay, so let's visit some of our headlines and see what the details are. And on the story we have here, Court jails asks High Court registrar over 80 million fraud. A former registrar of Federal High Court, Joseph Etefia Odo, has been sentenced to 4 years imprisonment for laundering the sum of 80 million naira. Mr. Odo and his wife, Grace Odo, were in December 2019 arraigned by the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, before Honorable Justice P.H. Malong on 12-count charge for alleged misappropriation of 80 million naira that had been deposited in the court by a litigant. The convict reportedly issued checks in the name of his wife, also a staff of the Federal High Court of Justice, Abuja, and used the money to acquire properties in some major cities across Nigeria. Based on a plea bargain agreement entered with a convict, the charges labeled against him were amended to 4 counts and orders, and those against his wife dropped. When charges were read before the convict, he pleaded guilty to all of them. The prosecution counsel, Shehu Yahya, urged the court to convict and sentence the defendant according to the terms of the plea bargain agreement before the court, as provided in Section 270, Sub 10 of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act, ACJ8, 2015. Counsel to the defendant, Benga Ogunira, concurred with a submission of the prosecution counsel stating that the convict did not only embarrass himself but also embarrass his family. He, however, pleaded with the court to temper justice with mercy, especially looking at the fact that the convict is a family man funding his children's school fee and taking care of his aged mother. Okay, over now to the next. Breaking, High Court moves to commit DCP Yusuf of SARS Amuchenwa orders to prison. Let's read what's in the news. The High Court of Imo has moved to commit certain police officers and a certain woman to prison for disobedience of order of the court concerning Dr. Ikedi Hakim, former governor of Imo State. According to documents obtained by this Elumba News, the Registrar of High Court of Imo State on Wednesday, November 4th, 2020, issued a show cause notice of committal to DCP Kolo Yusuf and SP Mohammed Yusuf, both of whom were members of the disbanded infamous SARS unit, also known as Special Anti-Robbery Squad. Other officers are Stanley Nwodo, Oji Kano, and CP Tuesday Oseyemo, all of whom are the prosecution section of Nigerian Police Headquarters, Abuja. Also facing committal to prison is one Chinyere Amuchenwa Igwegwe, who is the nominal complainant in the originating matter that led to the notice of committal. It will be recalled that Ikedi Hakim had on September 10, 2020 secured a restraining injunction against the Nigerian police force. These officers and Miss Amuchenwa Igwegwe on an application by Hakim for enforcement of these fundamental rights according to judiciary sources. The order, which was made by Justice V. Onyeka of Imo High Court 13, was duly signed on all the parties. According to court records, Hakim's move to enforce his fundamental rights was necessitated by Ms. Amuchenwa But Ms. Anuchewan's insistence on several petitions against the Hakim, including one she brought at the Lagos Command of Nigeria Police Force, another one at Force Headquarters in Abuja, and the one she brought before the National Agency for Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP. The order of the injunction read that all parties in the suit are hereby ordered to maintain the status quo and should not do anything in connection with the subject matter and should stay in all action whatsoever pending the determination of the substantive motion in this suit. But in a twist, the Nigerian police force acting through these officers tricked Ms. Amuchewan to proceed and file charges against the Hakim on September 21st, 2020, 11 days after the High Court issued the injunction. This charge was then widely published in several newspaper reports. According to credible sources, the charges were never served on Hakim, and the subsequent summons for Hakim's alleged arraignment on November 11, 2020 was also widely published in newspapers, but the same source confirmed that this too was never served on Hakim. It was in view of this development that the Imo High Court issued the notice of committal to DCP Kolo Yusuf and the others, which in part reads, "Notice to show cause why order of committal should not be made, that you are hereby required to attend the court on the first mentioned day to show cause why an order for your committal should not be made." The Selumba News was informed that the committal proceedings may be set for next week before Justice G. Chukwunyere sitting in Imo High Court. That's yet another story on Elumba site. And then we have PDP rejects attempt to regulate social media. Let's see what PDP is saying. The People's Democratic Party, PDP, has rejected the alleged move to regulate social media in Nigeria. The party, in a statement issued by its National Publicity Secretary, Mr. Kola Ologmundeya, in Abuja on Wednesday, described it as unconstitutional, anti-people, an attempt to silence Nigeria. Ologmundeya said that the attempt to censor the social media was targeted at mostly outspoken Nigerians. This, according to him, is particularly against youth, media, and civil society organizations demanding for accountability and competence from government. He said it would also silence citizens from exposing cases of corruption, injustice, human rights abuses, and constitutional violation by government officials. Our party rejects the claim that the regulation bill is targeted at checking fake news. This is because our nation already has enough implementable laws to counter the dissemination of fake news and punish offenders. Ologmundeya said that instead of curtailing citizens' constitutionally guaranteed rights, government should rather take steps to reassure Nigerians of efforts to address corruption, treasury looting, abuse of human rights, nepotism, and accountability. He advised the All Progressive People's Congress. All Progressive Congress-led government to become more accountable, particularly in exposing corrupt officials, including those alleged to be involved in diversion of public funds voted for COVID-19 palliatives. Ologmundeya said while the PDP did not in any way condone the dissemination of fake news, it rejected the attempt to hide under fake news to use regulation of social media for selfish political reasons. The Northern Governors Forum had on Monday expressed support for the ongoing efforts to regulate the social media in order to check the spread of fake news in the country. The forum expressed its support in a communique issued by its chairman and governor of Plateau, Mr. Simon Lalong, after its meeting in Kaduna with traditional rulers and other key stakeholders in the region. That's another story. Yeah, let's move over to the next. Reps kick as NERC seeks 2.1 billion naira to furnish petition headquarters. Let's take a look at the details. Nigerian Electricity Regulation Commission (NERC) on Wednesday said it would require 2 billion naira in the 2021 budget to petition and furnish its headquarters in Abuja. The House of Representatives Committee on Power, however, demanded to know the total contract sum needed to complete the petitioning and furnishing of the office, but the Commission was unable to provide same. Appearing before the committee, the NEC chairman James Momo said the partitioning and furnishing of the 8th-floor building became necessary to make the building conducive after it was acquired. He said works on the building were ongoing, which made the commission to propose funding for it in the 2020 and 2021 budgets. Momo told the committee that the commission was unable to spend all the money released to it for the project in 2020 budget because of the COVID-19 pandemic. The committee, however, demanded to know the total contract sum needed to complete the partitioning and furnishing of the office, but the commission was unable to provide same. The committee expressed worry that the commission was seeking 2 billion naira, but could not state what the contract sum was. Chairman of the committee, Magaji Aliyu, threatened to delete the request from the 2020 budget proposals. And yet we have another story on ASU this time. What is ASU saying? What's going on? We all know what ASU means in Nigeria and what's been happening with ASU and strike for so long. ASU FG meeting ends in deadlock. What's the deadlock all about? The Minister of Labor and Employment, Chris Ngige, has said the federal government does not have the 110 billion naira revitalization fund being demanded by the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU. Speaking after a meeting with the union on Wednesday, Ngige said the government could only offer ASU 20 billion naira due to their economic situation of the country. The union embarked on an indefinite strike in March following the non-implementation of agreements and resolutions reached in 2009 and subsequent memoranda of understanding signed in 2013 and 2017. The union also opposed the adoption of the Integrated Payroll and Personnel Information System, IPS, but presented its University Transparency Account System, UTSAS, as an alternative. The government has said it would consider accepting UTSAS, adding that the software is undergoing an integrity test. He said there are 3 issues, and these include the revitalization fund, where the government offered ASU 20 billion naira on good faith based on the Memorandum of Understanding MOU entered into in 2013 as a result of the renegotiation with the then government in 2009. This present government is still committed to it while we are giving them offers of some fund. This government is not against revitalization, but this government says that because of their economic situation due to COVID-19, we cannot really pay in the 110 billion naira, which they are demanding for revitalization. As you know, last week, the Minister of Communication and Digital Economy has approved that NITDA gets ASU system, UTSAS, and subject it to integrity test. This test should be conducted without fear or favor and as early as possible. So today, they have submitted the document for onward transmission to NITDA. Ngige said the government could not pay the lecturers their entitlements during the transition period because there was no platform for the payment to be made. That's on ASU and the demand, and of course the federal government and what they're saying. And let's see what Wanguma is saying on the response he's giving to the federal to the IGP on self-defense, which he says is defend yourselves. Let's see. Mr. Okechukwu Wanguma, the Executive Director of Rule of Law and Accountability Advocacy Center, RULAC, has stated the Inspector General of Police, IGP, Mohammed Abubakar Adamu, against the statement credited to him wherein he asked police officers to use their firearms to defend themselves when in danger. In a brief statement he made available to Elumba News, Mr. Wanguma said, the statement is insightful as it could be misinterpreted by most of the largely unsophisticated junior ranks. The RULAC Executive Director positioned that those unsophisticated officers may embrace it as a license to kill at the slightest excuse. He said IGP's statement on police using the firearms to defend themselves when in danger, while it ordinarily sounds understandable, could be insightful and culpable of being misinterpreted by most of the largely unsophisticated junior ranks who may embrace it as a license to kill in the slightest excuse. How much training have these police officers received in the use of force? How many of them know about or have seen copies of the revised NPF's Force Order 273, he asked. He therefore warned that such statements, no matter how well intended, is capable of inciting police misuse of firearms, hence ought to be made with restraints. We must be careful not to make statements, albeit well intended, but which is capable of inciting police misuse of firearms and provoke another wave of protest, he admonished. And here we have the video. So let's quickly look at the video of the IG telling police officers to use their weapons or their firearms to defend themselves. Unfortunately, we seem to be having some hitches with that video, which has the statement of the IGP. Okay, so because of our inability to get that video, we would search for it, and if we have it in a subsequent broadcast, you will get it, of course. And over now to the next story. Azubogo inspects facilities damaged in his federal constituency. The member representing Nnewi North, Nnewi South, and Ekusigo federal constituency in the House of Representatives, Engineer Chris Emeka Azubogo, over the weekend embarked on an assessment tour of facilities damaged in his federal constituency following the unfortunate hijack of a hitherto peaceful #EndSARS protest by hoodlums. Summarizing his views at the end of the very extensive tour, during which he inspected 14 vandalized facilities, Azubogo regretted that hoodlums took advantage of the peaceful protest to loot and wreak havoc on essential public facilities within his federal constituency and beyond. From my findings, within the 3 local government areas in my federal constituency, the rampaging hoodlums destroyed security infrastructure and other critical amenities, including an armored personnel carrier, APC, while 2 police officers and a yet-to-be-affirmed number of protesters lost their lives during the unfortunate incidents he buttressed. He continued, the level of damage, to say the least, was shocking, and I wonder what it was that led to such volume of destruction in the first place. But we couldn't have the resolve through our time-honored internal conflict resolution mechanisms. Our people are peace-loving, and we have strong community-based conflict resolution mechanisms that have proven effective over the years. So to have allowed whatever disagreements there were to degenerate to the callous point they did was really sad. The lawmaker said he was deeply pained by the regrettable twist because the destruction and senseless looting took place in an environment where the people have had to largely provide the damaged facilities, infrastructure inclusive, for themselves with scarce private resources. He lamented that funds which would have been deployed to consolidate provision of much needed infrastructure required to drive commercial manufacturing activities in the area will now be consigned to rebuilding the damaged facilities. It is yet another challenge for us as a people and government, as we have to find a way to rebuild all these as a matter of urgency and also put in place a framework that will avert a repeat of this ugly episode in future. It is unfortunate that this happened at a time we are battling to facilitate more critical infrastructural facilities that will help businesses, especially our manufacturing hub, improve productivity and create more jobs for young people, as Azubogo lamented. Concluding, the lawmaker commiserated with the families that lost their loved ones to the carnage, especially that of the 2 police officers killed at Osumei Police Station. Listed below are the families at the facilities inspected, most of which were either totally or partially burnt down. Nnewi Central Police Station, Nnewi. Nnewi Area Command, Nnewi. INEC Office, Nnewi North Local Government Area. Defunct EndSARS Office, Nnewi. EEDC Office, Nnewi Improvement Union Building, EEDC office, Nnewi Improvement Union Building. Police Barracks, Nnewi. Federal Road Safety Office, Nnewi. Osumei Police Station, Nnewi South Local Government Area. Ochi Police Station, Amici, Nnewi South Local Government Area. Ezinifite Police Station, Nnewi South Local Government Area. Okpo Divisional Police Station, Nnewi South Local Government Area. Ichi Police Station, Ekusigo LGA. Ozubulu Divisional Police Station, Ekusigo LGA. Ekusigo Area Command Orifite, Ekusigo LGA. These were the areas that were inspected by the lawmaker. And we move from there to the next, which is INEC to begin another round of voter registration in first quarter of 2021. Chairman, let's see the details of the story. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, says it will begin another round of voter registration in the first quarter of 2021. INEC Chairman Prof. Mahmood Yakubu told newsmen in Abuja on Wednesday after appearing before the Senate Committee on INEC to defend the Commission's 2021 budget. He said the voter registration exercise will run till 6 months before the 2023 general elections. We will resume voter registration in the first quarter of 2021, and once we resume, it will be continuous for 1.5 years, at least until 6 months to the next general elections. He also revealed that the Commission is currently involved in about 1,700 pre-election and post-election court cases from 2019 general elections. He, however, said the Commission is not paying huge legal fees, but applying Federal Ministry of Justice scale of fees. For instance, if we have a case for governorship election before the Supreme Court, it is a maximum of 4.5 million naira. But because of the number of cases, we are almost getting close to 1,700 pre-election and post-election cases in 2019 alone. Every day you hear people going to court and joining INEC, but we will continue to do what we can within available resources, he said. Earlier, the Budget Defense Yakubu said the Commission plans to withdraw 5.2 billion naira from its 10 billion naira fund to augment its 2020 budget. He said the Commission had not spent from the fund since it was established in 2010, noting that the withdrawal is occasioned by the reduction in its 2020 budget. What has happened now is our budget for 2020 dropped to 40 billion naira from 45.5 billion naira in 2019. As a result of the 10% COVID-19 cut, it further dropped to 36 billion naira in the middle of the year, when we had already made preparations for expenditure. Therefore, since that fund is made for the rainy days, I informed the committee that the rainy days has come. So we are taking part of the fund to balance our budget for this year, he said. On diaspora voting, he said the Commission is desirous to give Nigerians abroad the right to vote, noting that the actualization requires amendment to the Constitution and the Electoral Act. We have already worked out the document. Once the law is amended, we can roll. We have already worked out the document. Once the law is amended, we can roll out. We are ready. We have had several meetings with the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, NIDCOM, but we can't go beyond what the law provides, he said. And that's yet another story from Elumba Television. And you can get these stories on Elumba's site by visiting www.elumba.com. You can also follow us on Instagram at Elumba Television, like our Facebook page, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel on Elumba Television. And all of this will help you get our information, get our news whenever it drops. And do not forget, I am still Angel Lady, and we would always bring news to you every time, every day. Until I come your way again, I'm saying have yourselves a great day. Be safe. Bye now.